Dungeons & Drimbus is rated R for rude language, rough violence, and raunchy humor.
I do declare, here's what happened previously on Dungeons & Drimbus. The attorneys entered the first trial to join the soldiers of the solstice. In a massive subterranean chamber, they outran a dark, mysterious gas. Viper barely escaping its grips as they climbed a huge wall, discovering a bell hanging about 40 feet in the air. Atop the wall, they kept hearing muffled, voice-like sounds. After hitting the bell enough times, the fog just barely dissipated to show Winnie weeping over the bones of Justina. However, the fog didn't give up for long, and the party began to break through the ground with a target painted on it. With one final blow, the ground gives way, and everyone falls into a massive sandy pit, with pillars, switches, and an altar in the middle. I do declare, Herrera is back in session.
In the center of the arena, you see what could possibly be an altar of some sort. The ring is perfectly round, and there is a roughly 20-foot tall ledge that runs around the perimeter of the arena. At 3 equidistant points around the ledge, you see stone pillars with symbols carved into them. One bears a flame, the other bears a snowflake, and the last a water droplet. In front of each pillar is a lever. Down in the pit where you are, you see 3 pillars in roughly the same position, but these pillars are 3-sided and bear all 3 symbols, one on each side. In front of each pillar is a pressure plate. And finally, off to the side, you see Winnie, sobbing over what remains of Justina. I'm so sorry. Why did we do this?
The pillars up above and below, are they lined up?
Yes, they are lined up, so it looks like there's one on the ledge and then one at about the same point just in the pit.
So they are corresponding in a sense?
Yes.
Gary's curious why Winnie's a ghost and Justina hasn't met her as a ghost.
Why don't you give me a nature check?
18?
You may not know the exact specifics of their relationship, but you know that sometimes ghosts exist as opposed to simply passing on because they are still bound to something.
Ooh.
And Monique stands up after falling through the floor and goes, "Oh, shit. Okay. What do we do?
So they're 3-sided, they're corresponding. This is just a shot in the dark, but I wonder if the pressure plates turn them and we need to line up the symbol facing the center with the symbol above it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Timmy.
Makes sense to me too. Sure. Okay, I'll climb up. I'll get on one of the levers.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can pull things, right? Gary, I've been working on my biceps. Take a look. You see, it's just lugging that crossbow around.
Oh my god, look at those biceps.
Hey, don't touch your biceps.
I said look. I wasn't gonna
Don't even look at her.
Okay.
Oh my god.
One of us should go check on Winnie, right?
Yes, I think so.
And Gary will walk up to Winnie.
Gary begins to walk away, and then Grisabeth, hesitates to follow you, and then looks at the group and goes,
Look, I love him, but I don't know if he's the best one to do this.
You know,
and she just kind of scurries after you, but you get there a little bit before she does.
Excuse me.
Oh. I didn't mean for this to happen.
Winnie, was it?
Yes.
I couldn't help but notice that, she's seems to have passed on, but you're still here. Is there a reason why? Is there a way we can help you so you guys can be together again?
I've always been bound to her.
You were bound to her?
Please, help me get her out of here. Please.
She's a skeleton or she's a body?
There's just bones at this point. Like
That was fast.
It looks like it's not even a full skeleton. Like you see, there are just charred like bits of bone that remain.
Like, would they fit in a saddlebag or a backpack?
That seems to make sense. As you see, at this point, Grisabeth has caught up to you and just kind of very softly tries to put a hand on Winnie, but cannot make physical contact.
And Gary will whistle for either Popcorn or Tony to.
Tony perks up and like he goes from away, and then seeing the delicate situation, instead chooses to gently glide over very quietly and solemnly.
Good call.
We need to get her out of here, Tony. You think you can hold some of these in your bags?
He kind of turns to show you the bag.
He'll try to fit as many bones as he can on Tony.
Okay, you start putting the stuff in Tony's saddlebag. As like away from this huddle, we see Monique looks at Thomas and goes, "Oh God, look, I don't have patience for this. I'm sorry. I get it. Bad shit happens, but we got to get moving. I'm gonna start climbing that ladder." And
I
she
agree.
Yeah, I'll go to
and
the
she
third
goes
one.
up over to the ledge.
Excuse me, I believe she said she was talking to Thomas. Where did everyone else come from? I will also climb the ladder, Monique. Thank you.
Jessica's gonna go to one of the corresponding pressure plates of whichever one Monique is headed to.
Okay.
I will climb the third.
Okay. So Monique climbs up and she goes to stand at the water pillar and she says, Thomas, you want to take flame, and Viper, you take ice?
Yes.
All right, let's see what this does.
All right.
And we cut back to Gary placing what remains of Justina in the saddlebag. Winnie looks up at you and she says, thank you. I will help you best this challenge however I can. I made her a promise, and I have to leave here to fulfill it.
Don't you worry, we're gonna reunite you two. I'll go help out with the puzzle now.
I have gone to the corresponding pillar to the water pillar above, but my pillar has 3, but the pressure
Yes,
plate.
which currently displays a flame.
Cool.
I'll go to one of the empty ones.
Jessica has gone to the pillar that corresponds to the water pillar. Barbara has gone to the pillar that corresponds to the fire pillar.
Perfect.
And Grisabeth says, Gary, I guess we should go to that other pillar over there.
Well, I think we just have to change the faces of the pillars so somebody pulls a switch and then we all stand on the pressure plate.
What's that altar thing? It kind of looks like the thing from the beginning of the trial, where we put our hands.
Oh, is that to confirm the puzzle?
I don't know. You're kind of better at this stuff than I am. I'm a little nervous, to be frank.
Just waiting for someone to pull a switch, to be honest.
Okay. I'll just follow you around.
Okay.
Yep. So Tony's gliding behind you with Grisabeth ahead of him and Winnie behind him. And we see Popcorn actually glides up towards where Thomas is.
You know, just knowing how sort of messed up this trial has been so far, I worry that the lever will cause the element to just come out and people could be harmed. So I would exercise caution where you're standing, just in case, because I don't know what's about to happen, okay?
All right, everybody stand back at a safe distance that will not warrant a dexterity saving roll.
Okay.
And Grisabeth actually mounts up on Tony and goes, "Yeah, boy." And she like pulls back on the reins and Tony just glides backwards.
Okay, Viper will pull the lever.
Okay, so you are on the ice pillar.
Yes.
The corresponding pillar beneath is currently on flame, and when you pull the lever, it moves faces and now has the snowflake on it as well.
Okay.
All right, you're good. That one's good. They match.
Okay.
And he puts thumbs up.
And Viper looks and gives the thumbs up as well.
All right, next.
Okay, Monique, pull that lever.
Okay. So Jessica, the pillar that you are at, which corresponds to the water droplet, is currently also on the flame. Monique pulls the lever and it changes to the snowflake.
Okay, try again.
Okay. And it changes to the water droplet.
Okay,
right,
we're
good.
locked in for water.
All right, last one.
Thomas, you are at the top pillar that has the flame on it, and beneath you, Barbara is at the corresponding pillar that currently bears a water droplet.
Oh, okay. I gotta do the water droplet then.
Well, you just gotta pull it, and I have to match flame.
Well, what if Thomas doesn't want to pull the lever?
Well, don't be a bitch, Thomas. Can you just pull the fucking lever?
You pull it, Barbara.
We're gonna have to switch places. You really
Oh
wanna
my
do
god,
that?
and you see Monique starts, like, sprinting across the ledge.
Oh god, I'll pull the lever. She's scared.
As you pull the lever, it changes to a flame. All of the pillars are now corresponding.
There we go.
And Monique kind of like stops in her tracks, like she skids forward a little bit and goes, ah! And she turns around and runs back to her pillar.
I start crying.
Step on the pressure plates.
Yes.
Yes,
Simultaneously?
I think so.
I would think so. That makes sense.
Wait, we need something.
Wait, on 3, after 3?
Hey.
I'm confused.
I'm on it. Bob stepped on it.
Oh no, and Jessica quickly steps on it as well.
Okay, Gary, are you stepping on?
Yeah, I'll step on whatever is last.
Okay, all three of you give me a dexterity saving throw.
Son of a bitch.
Nice.
Not nice.
At least I rolled well. A 17.
18 for Barbara.
Dirtiest, nastiest, unrefined 20.
Damn, okay. All three of you step on the pressure plates. You hear a... And you just feel in your bones, oh, fuck. And you get the instinct, like, before the second foot is even on the plate, you get the instinct to dive away. And you all manage to jump away from the pressure plate as from up above, you see these spouts of energy coming up. You each take 7 points of damage. Jessica, you take water damage. Barbara, you take fire damage. And Gary, you take ice damage.
Ooh, I'm wearing a thing to...
You are
resist
wearing the
that.
Code of Elemental Resistance. So that 7 becomes a 3.
Hit you.
Okay.
Oh God, Gary, are you okay? She immediately is like there with Tony. She goes, are you okay? Tony's licking the little bits of like frozen ice off of your like skin.
Frosty. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Okay.
Okay.
Why?
Did anything else happen? Did like an element
Yeah.
come up from anywhere else?
You see your pillar where you were standing kind of rotates, settles back on water. Barbara, you see your pillar rotates, settles on Snowflake. And Gary, you see your pillar rotates and settles on water.
The bottom ones.
Yes, the ones that you guys had just set in place and then stepped on the
And
pressure plates.
does anything happen to the middle?
Nothing. The bone altar is still standing there. Especially from above, you get a better look at it, and you see that there seems to be a hand imprint, like what you had to put your hands on to come into the chamber.
Okay, either we just have to touch the middle, or we have to correspond it with the element that would douse it. Like maybe
Yeah, I was
the
thinking the
fire
same thing, like an
needs the
opposite.
flame, and the snowflake, needs the fire, and then the water needs the snowflake or something.
That sounds like a good plan.
So I guess Thomas should have locked his in back when, he said lock it in. I don't know.
You're nice, so we need this to be a fire one.
All right, I'll pull it.
You pull the lever once, it goes to water. You pull it again, it goes to fire.
Okay.
All right, where are we at down below?
So Thomas, you are on the fire pillar, and Barb, down below, you see that yours is set to snow.
Okay, water beats fire.
Okay, so pull the lever.
All right.
Thomas, you pull it once, and down below, Barbara, you see it changes to water.
All right, you're good.
All right.
Stop. No more.
Leave it there.
Okay, Monique.
All right, I'm on water, and it looks like you're on water too, I think.
Yeah, okay, give it a pull.
Okay, she pulls it, it goes to fire.
Give it another pull.
She pulls it, it goes to snow.
Perfect. Right there.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, are we gonna step on these?
good luck, y'all.
I have a bunch of junk. Let me see.
I don't mind standing on one. I think I can take it.
I have a good feeling about this one.
I'll stand on one. And you see Winnie goes and floats over one of the pressure plates.
Oh.
Damn it.
Okay, Gary/Grisabeth, are you in?
Honey, don't worry. I'm going to conjure an ingot so we don't have to do that, okay?
Okay, conjure your ingot, Gary. Conjure your ingot.
Okay, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Jessica steps onto the pressure plate.
Here we go.
Okay, Jessica and Barbara step on the plates as Gary puts a hand to his temples and summons an ingot, depressing the pressure plates all the way, and nothing happens.
Okay. I think we have to put our hands on the altar thing now.
Okay, should we come down?
Yeah. I forget how many it needs, but yeah, I guess everybody just come down.
Okay, you see Monique just kind of like, she's closest to the ladder, so she just steps over and like basically jumps down like that thing where it's just hands and like legs sliding down the tube, just like...
Oh, yeah.
Viper will climb down.
Okay, I put my hand on the altar, get this train started.
Gary, you put your hand on the altar. And as you place it atop the altar, you feel that familiar sensation of your blood being extracted. You see the dark liquid swirl and almost crystallize as, from above you, some of the black fog streams in. It combines with the blood to form a dense sphere. However, more fog continues to stream in, and it wraps around the object. It amasses and grows, taking a vaguely humanoid shape. You see Grisabeth comes, grabs you by the collar, says, "Get back!" and drags you backwards. And you see this humanoid shape, but it is massive. As the fog hardens and sets, it seems to take an earthy tone, with an exterior of massive, seemingly stone plates. Standing before you is a towering 8-foot-tall stone construct. Roll for initiative.
Fuck!
You slut.
We're halfway there. This is the halftime ad with Daddy G.
Give it to me straight, Doc. How's he doing? Honestly, Mr. G, we're not quite sure. Nikki's condition has hardly changed, but scans show there is a great deal of brain activity. I'd say it's a glass half full situation. Or all the way full. What? You wouldn't get it. So what do we do? I don't mean to be rude, but it feels like we're half-assing his treatment here. I understand your frustration, sir, but these things are complicated. They take time. It's really up to Nicky B himself now. There has to be something we can do. Throw me a bone here, Doc. Well, those headphones you gave him for the, entertisement, yes. Yes. They seem to help with the amount of brain activity. Being there for him, speaking to those parts of him, could be a big help. Okay, I'll give you to the room. Hey, Nicky. It's Dad. I miss you. Scruffles misses you. The listeners miss you. I've taken over like I think you would have wanted, but it's not the same. It's hard. Week after week, trying to spread the word on how to support your favorite podcast in a fun way while pretending I'm not just thinking about the Nicky-sized hole in my heart. But I know you'll pull through, and we'll all be happy to have you back where you belong. And when you do come back, we're gonna cash in all your patron perks at once. The Drimbus team will name a character after you. They'll use all those magic items you made on the show. We'll listen to Beyond D&D and After the Drimbus and outtakes while putting on your Tony the Pony socks as we prep for a game with the cast. You're gonna love it. And all the patrons will be there to cheer you on. Jerry Benetatos will be there. Queso Loco, Greta and Beignet will be there. Alex will gape your ass. Ace Andrews will be there. Regina Russell and Sam Olivos and Jordan Cobb and, of course, the unnamed Rogue are going to be there. And be Star and Doubtful Guest and Michael Richters and Davis Walden. Denny Dewdrop's going to be there. Myth Mouse wouldn't miss it for the world. Callie Wolf, Brandon M. Bishop, Bridge and Twiglets and Joanna and your buddy Stan Sitzman. Scrambles, the Death Dealer, is definitely going to be there. Aaron Adams, Nathan Mesner, Ruth Thanatos, Carrie Holmes, Melissa Rain, and Sensational wouldn't miss it for the world. Butts Aplenty and Uvular Nutria and Dane Kohlhoff and Loon and Faust the Heavenly Demonic Monster David Carlton's gonna come, and Lord Braxton Von Wendell III's gonna come, and Tracy Baby's gonna come. Waffle Marine's gonna be there, Elastic Man, Hoodie Gang Sheep, Doobie Daddy, Luke Vermin, MV Carr, Chris McGann will be there, Vico Cocorico will be there, Mary Weig, Alyssa Barron, Jan. They're all gonna be there. Every single one of them from patreon.com/Drimbus, cheering you on and supporting your favorite podcast. Oh, and, there's someone else I'd like you to meet. But we can do that when you wake. I love you, son. Mwah. That was a kiss from your daddy, G.
Roll for initiative.
Fuck.
You slut.
Now, here's the thing. Is it like Pokemon where water beats rock? Because I don't know if that actually I don't know if that actually works.
13.
19 from Jessica.
21 from Viper.
Nat 20.
10 from Barbara.
Gary, Grisabeth has grabbed you by the collar and dragged you backwards through the sand, Tony hovering like a helicopter. All of you have just stepped off of the ledge, and then you see all of this fog swirling and forming this massive stone construct, as it seems to form up. And then you see this dark glow from where its eyes would be as it turns to face Gary. But Viper, you are up first.
I'm going to see that, quickly assess that maybe the pillars can be utilized, and just turn right around and climb back up the ladder.
Okay, so you can make it to the first pillar with just your movement, or the second pillar with a dash.
I'll stay at the water pillar, and will I have to wait till my next action to, like, pull the lever, or...?
If you're staying at the first one, that's just your movement, so you can take an action to try and turn it.
Alright, I'll pull the lever.
Okay, to set it to?
To attempt, if I have enough time, to set it back to water.
You pull the lever and set it back to water.
Okay.
As Gary, it is your turn. As Grisabeth has pulled you back, she goes, "Oh my god, Mr. Mogbile, you gotta be more careful. Do something. It's your turn."
He's gonna get 60 feet back.
Okay, towards where?
The furthest away from the golem.
Okay, it is currently in the center of the pit, so you can go to the outer wall. It's a circle, so 60 feet across either way.
Where's the pressure plates?
The pressure plates are about halfway.
Okay, so Gary's gonna put the pressure plates between him and the golem.
Okay, which pressure plate?
The one that Viper has just switched.
Okay. Well, with 40 feet, you managed to put yourself 10 feet behind the pillar that Viper is now at and has turned to set to water.
I'll do that, and then I'm gonna cast Acid Splash to try and melt the golem.
Okay, does a 15 save?
It does not.
Okay.
You're gonna get 9 acid damage. Ooh.
You run, you position yourself. You see Grisabeth look and she says, "Be safe, Mr. Mogbile." The construct has its eyes focused on you. And as you duck behind this pillar, you extend a hand and we see this green acid fly out. It lands on the stone and burns into it, making it look more porous, almost like limestone. But you have only etched away at one small plate on the massive creature, as it seems to be relatively unbothered. Grisabeth pulls up on the reins and she goes, "Tony, yeah!" And you see Tony rears up to almost vertical, and you see his eyes and hooves and mane begin to glow again. Raises his horse hooves up and then brings them down, opens his mouth, and lets out this magic blast with a... As this blast flies out.
Yo.
Unfortunately, Tony seems to not be used to being ridden while using his magic abilities, and you see like this blast of magic kind of like like losing its precision as it glances off of the stone skin of this creature and does not really have much of an effect. But then Grisabeth says, "Okay, good try, yeah!" And she is going to go around and go towards you, Gary. But as she does, you see she grabs her crossbow and pulls out this little bundle of bolts, it almost looks like, loads it, aims it up, and shoots. And as she does, you see it goes up, explodes, and then these 6 smaller darts come out and fall on the ground in a circle.
Cool.
Where did she get that?
surrounding the golem. She goes, "Oh my god, it worked!
Where did you...
And
I've been reading some books, Gary.
as she pulls up next to you, Jessica, it is your turn.
She's going to use her movement to get like 20 feet behind.
So just behind Gary, Grisabeth, and Tony.
Yeah, and she's going to take a moment, bow her head, and go, "Oh, Bahamut, do hear me and aid my efforts in smiting down this nasty golem that popped up in front of us." And she is going to cast Guiding Bolt. Does a 15 hit?
It does not.
No!
Bitch. She goes, "Ha!" and like holds out the palms of her hands, and nothing happens. And she's like, "Oh, okay, sorry everyone, still learning here."
And with that, Monique is going to go, "Oh shit," and climb back up the ladder and then dash to the second pillar. It is then Popcorn's turn. Popcorn looks at you, Thomas, and goes, "Huh?"
Yes, Popcorn? You want me to tell you what to do? I don't know. Go kick it.
Popcorn is gonna gesture to his saddle with his head, almost like telling you to hop on.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, you hop on, and Popcorn takes off and lifts you up over towards the third pillar.
Oh.
It is then the construct's turn.
Oh boy.
The stone construct begins to move. Its eyes seem to be locked on you, Gary. You see it taking steps. As it takes its first step, you see one of those bolts that Grisabeth had put in the ground actually goes flying straight at it. And it seems to try to pierce through and bounces off of the stone carapace. However, as it continues to move, it then steps onto the pressure plate. At this point, Viper, you have set the pillars to match, and as it steps on the pressure plate, this massive blast of water comes out. Actually blasting it backwards so that it falls onto all fours, but backwards, almost like it's doing like a back handspring. You see the stone carapace kind of opens up, and you can see that crystal inside, and as the water makes contact with it, and you see some of the stone pieces fly off, you then see it begin to almost change form. And you see the stone plates begin to turn somewhat translucent and watery. As it then closes back up and stands up and is no longer a stone construct, but a water construct.
Whoa. Okay.
Most harmless one.
I don't know.
Let's find out, because it only managed to use its movement, so now it gets to take its turn.
Son of a biscuit.
Gary, Grisabeth, and Tony, please give me strength saving throws.
Oh no.
Wrong. God damn it, 12.
The water construct floods forward. You see its form is more flexible now and seems to wrap around you. You see, it's almost like you're at the beach, because you're seeing this thick layer of water, and beneath it the sand, your feet in the water, and she goes,
Oh, Gary, this is terrifyingly nice.
as the water then rises up and encapsulates you.
Oh no.
You are going to take 19 bludgeoning damage. You feel the water crash onto you and kind of constrict you. You are restrained and unable to breathe.
That's not great.
All right.
That's not good.
I'm doing a reaction to this, using Ostragon's book to teleport us 10 feet out of this so we don't get hit.
Dope. Where are you teleporting to?
Towards the pillar that will freeze it.
So you can teleport yourself halfway between the water construct and the pillar, and then it'll be another 40 feet to the freezing pillar.
Okay.
You all see Gary kind of twists his hands, and all of a sudden you see the three of them blink out and then get spit out on the sand.
Run!
Grisabeth starts to get to her feet, as does Tony. Thomas, it is now your turn.
Okay, so I'm on a pillar, so I'm gonna turn it to ice.
Okay, you and set it to ice. It is then Winnie's turn. Thank you. I will help you leave here as long as you help me get Justina out. And... Fuck, are you kidding me?
No.
You see Winnie kind of like turns into a wispy form and goes and flies into the water creature. And then you see her kind of form apparate inside, and then her ghostly head pops out of the water and goes, "Oh, no, can't do it!" And she disappears again. Barbara, it's your turn.
So I think I'm going to get as close to the pressure plate as one can.
So because you were at your pressure plate, it is actually exactly 30 feet to the other pressure plate, so you can move without using an action.
So Barb being now moved, she's gonna shout over to the big bad thing, like, hey, water boy, over here. And Barb is like waving her hands and like flipping them off and be like, yeah, Barb, this way, come over here. Come, I'm thirsty. Get over here. Get over here.
It seems to have its eyes dead set on Gary.
It's dead set on Gary?
Yeah, because my blood's in it.
The only thing I could do is shoot a crossbow at it, and I don't know if that's gonna really do much. But I'll try.
You can try.
So Barb is gonna shoot a crossbow at Waterboy.
Okay.
Or water them. Sorry, not to assume.
Water gay.
Watergate.
That's a 22 to hit.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Okay.
Hydrate and dihydrate.
Oh wait, I can actually attack 3 times.
Oh shit.
Okay, roll 3 that if that's what you're doing.
Okay, so the first one was 22. 20, not natural.
It hits.
And that is 14.
That also just barely hits as we see Barbara rapid fire loads like 3 bolts. So you pull, release, drag the other one forward, pull, release, drag the other one forward, pull, release. As you rapid fire 3 bolts at this water construct. Please roll for damage.
That's 12 for the burst. That's another 12. And 9.
As the 3 bolts fly through, unfortunately, they fly through, leave these little holes in the creature, and then they close up. It does seem to lose some of its water mass, but it seems to lose a lot less than you may have hoped.
And that's fair. That's completely rational.
That was all you could do.
Viper, it is your turn.
So that crystal that I saw before, I only saw it in the chest when it was changing form. I no longer see it, right?
You can kind of see it in the middle, but like it's not easily accessible.
Yeah, it's not exposed. I will do 2 weapon fighting, and I will throw 2 throwing knives that are coated in poison. The first one is 18 to hit.
That hits.
And then the second one is 26 to hit.
That definitely hits. Roll for damage on both.
Okay. It needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
That is a 7.
Yes! From both knives, it takes 12 piercing, so whatever that actually
Yeah, just
is.
like with Barb, you see the knives fly through. It definitely loses a bit of water mass, but nowhere near as much as you'd hoped for.
Okay, and then it takes 10 poison damage from the first.
And you can stop rolling as you see none of the poison coating comes off of the daggers.
Damn. All right, well, I tried.
That brings us back around to Gary. Grisabeth has just kind of stood up after you have teleported them out of the water. She tries to hug onto Tony's neck and she goes,
Gary, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Oh.
So I'll just run to safety as far as I can, putting the ice pressure plate between me and the golem.
Okay, so you have about 20 feet distance between you and the pressure plate.
And I'm going to ready an ice knife for this guy.
Okay, and when is that going to fire off?
Right before Thomas's turn.
Marvelous. Gary, we see him run and goes straight past the pillar. Barbara, you see like a little greenish grayish blur just right past you as we see him swirling his hands and beginning to form this long, frozen, icy knife. As Grisabeth and Tony, they kind of look at each other. Grisabeth grabs Tony's like 2 cheeks and she goes, "Go get him, Tony." She like turns his face away and Grisabeth begins to dash through the sand toward Gary as well. She runs to you. She readies a shot over her shoulder. She runs, kind of turns around, no scopes the water construct. We see the bolt go flying through and it leaves a small hole, again, removing some of the watery mass, but the thing is still looking massive and in pretty good shape as she catches up to you. She goes, "Okay, Gary, you and me."
You've been learning some magic, I see.
Oh, I've been reading a little bit. I looked at some of your books.
And as she is saying that to you, we see Tony with his 2 front hooves outstretched, his back hooves straight out like a diver, begins to twirl. And he enters the center of the water construct's core. We see him swim with a graceful kick. Those glowing hooves seeming to react violently to the water as it sizzles and boils off of it. And Tony bursts out the other end, shaking his mane sexily in the air as he finishes his movement and positions himself behind the fire pillar. Jessica, it is your turn.
Okay, Jessica's going to use her movement and she's going to think ahead and she's going to start to position herself between the construct and the fire pillar.
Okay, yeah, you make it about 75% of the way unless you're dashing.
No.
Okay.
And as she's walking, she's like, okay, let's try something else here. Okay. Dearest Bahamut, it's me, your number one fan, Jessica. Can you please allow me to channel your justice to smite this enemy? Thank you. And she's going to try to cast Guiding Bolt again.
Okay.
And the roll this time is a 23.
That hit.
Yay! From Jessica's palms, she places them out after doing her little prayer to Bahamut, and you see a flash of light glint forth from her palms and smash into the construct, dealing 13 radiant damage. The next attack roll made against the target before the end of my next turn will have advantage.
Incredible. Thomas, again, you feel that tingling in your being, and you look down and you see Jessica praying head down again. But this time, as the hands come out, we see this blinding bolt of silvery blue light come flying out. It enters the water construct's body and then splinters and fractures off, going all throughout its being, almost like lightning, as we see it glow in intensity and begin to burn some of the water off. You hear a watery as the being kind of breaks apart and then begins to melt away and reconstitutes, having lost a fair amount of its mass. It is still large and in charge, but it seems to have been shaken in its confidence. Next up is Monique. She goes, okay, hold up. And she sets the fire pillar to fire. And she goes, okay, do something, lead him around. It is then Popcorn's turn. Popcorn is going to look at you, Thomas, once again, go,
Popcorn, go, just stay here, Popcorn, stay here.
Popcorn kind of sits on his ass and, like, puts a hoof to his chin.
Popcorn, you can do whatever you want, okay? You don't have to listen to the mean old grumpy skeleton.
And as you say that, we hear again, as the water construct begins to make its way toward Gary. As it begins to move, once again, one of Grisabeth's bolts in the ground flies straight through it. This time it does actually take just a little bit of the water's mass off, but it does not seem to notice it at all. However, it continues to make its way. And as it steps on the pressure plate, we see this icy blast fly out. Barbara, please give me a dexterity saving throw.
That is a 7.
Okay.
That's not good.
It's not great.
You are going to take 10 cold damage as the icy blast hits you from your position adjacent to the pressure plate. However, as the water construct steps on it, it gets blasted. And this time, instead of getting blasted backwards, it instantly freezes in place. The water hardening, and you get the impression that it perhaps takes extra damage from this.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And then from deep within the icy core, you see that swirling crystal like trying to rotate almost like it's jammed. And then you hear the crunching of ice as some of the plates break apart, and it separates into different loose joints that it can then articulate, and it sets its eyes toward Gary with its new icy form.
Well, can I use a Battle Master maneuver really quick?
Is it a reaction?
It says when a creature you can see moves into reach, I can use a melee weapon and spend a superiority dice.
All right, do it.
So as Waterboy comes closer to this plate and then suddenly forms into ice cold ice, there's no better way of putting it,
turns into solid form and freezes before Bob's very eyes. Bob raises a scimitar and begins to slash down towards now Ice Boy. Ice Baby.
Roll your attack with advantage, as Jess has given you advantage with that bolt of Bahamut's light, and Hydration Girly has become Ice Baby.
So 20, not natural 20.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Okay, so that's 12.
You bring the scimitar into Ice Baby's shin, and as you make contact with it, you see this ice spread onto the scimitar and then your hand, chilling your metal body as you take 1 cold damage, and you are going to have disadvantage on your next weapon attack roll as your joints stiffen and you feel the cold take over.
Well, I was not expecting that. Okay, great.
And with that, the ice elemental then finishes taking its action. It kind of like shakes your scimitar loose from its leg area. You hear this crunching of crystals as it rears back, lowers down like almost into a sumo squat, and opens what looks like a jaw, letting loose this ice breath.
Oh god.
Barbara, Grisabeth, and Gary, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Ooh, 29, no damage, please.
That's a 26 for Barbara.
Grisabeth looks to you, Gary, and goes, "Should we be what?" As the ice blast comes in. Barbara and Gary, you are each going to take 11 cold damage. You're going to take 11.
Thank you.
And Grisabeth seems to take the full blast. She kind of freezes into a little ice sculpture staring at you, Gary. She goes, and you see that combined with the damage she had already taken and now freezing, she looks in very bad shape as her skin immediately loses a lot of its greenish tint and begins to turn more blue. The lips turning dark blue. She does not seem to be dead, but seems to be like she is in grave danger. As Thomas, it is your turn.
All right, and it is finally ice, so I'm going to cast Fireball.
And right before your turn, Gary's ice knife goes off.
Yes.
Fuck. I feel like, okay, hold on. I feel like if you've readied an action,
you can cancel it.
Yeah, I'll just cancel it.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
Gary, you instinctually go to release the ice knife. We see the ice knife fly. We see the ice construct's eyes widen, almost a smile crack on its icy face. And then Gary goes, nope. And you just like suck the ice knife back in. Thomas, it is your turn.
Fireball.
Okay. Barbara and the construct, give me dex saving throws.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Does a 10 save?
Oh, that's no bueno.
Oh god.
That's a natural 1.
Oh, wow, you're both fucked then.
Look at it. This is great. All right. Whoo-wee.
I mean, 8d6 is not horrible, right?
I think you'll be fine.
I heard 86 and I was like, what the fuck?
No. 8d6.
We'll be okay. We got this.
Oh boy. It's not a good start.
Don't flub anything. Just let it happen, okay? It's okay.
28.
Oh. Okay.
So, Barbara, you are going to take 56 fire damage.
Beautiful. I'm still alive.
All right.
I'm definitely still alive. We're good.
You cast the fireball, and we see it go flying. It explodes with the ice construct, taking the vast majority of the blow. Barbara, you standing right next to it, actually see the ice instantly melt through its core and rip the top quarter of its body off. It puts one arm down to the ground, kind of steadying itself like a tripod. You see half of its quote-unquote face remains attached to that one shoulder it still has left, having taken, it looks like perhaps double that damage as well. But Barbara, so have you, as this fireball blasts you to fucking hell.
Oh, fuck. That was really cool, guys. But let's do it when I'm not standing right here. off.
Gary, you have seen this impressive feat, and Grisabeth from inside of her icy prison, you just hear...
Hey, does the fire that doesn't hit them but like is kind of around, does it melt her a little bit maybe?
It melts one eyeball, so now like one eyeball is frantically looking backwards to...
Is the construct still ice?
The construct is still ice.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Well. The famous Thomas Phelps has done it again.
Killed half your pot. Yes, very good.
Oh my god. As you then also see these two ghostly hands come out, grab onto what remains of the ice construct's face, and you hear, "It's Winnie time." And Winnie seems to try to enter the ice construct, and once again comes out, goes, "Oh fuck, too cold, god damn it," and blinks out of existence again.
You can do it. Well, it'll happen, don't worry.
Third time's a charm.
Barb, it is your turn.
All right, I'm gonna try the strength contest. I'm gonna try and pick up Tripod and move him over to the other plate.
Roll a strength contest.
Woo! It's a 23.
That definitely beats its 7. As you touch it, you feel the ice again chill your joints.
Jesus.
And you take 4 cold damage.
Okay,
But you
it's
do
fine.
manage to tackle it so that it is now mostly over your shoulder. Like, if you lean too much to one side, it'll be able to place its feet down. But you see the feet scrambling almost like a crab that's been picked up by its shell.
Here we go. Here we go.
And what, you're just running on to the next pressure plate?
No, calm down. I'm gonna throw it on top of the pressure plate, and my ass is gonna move out of the way.
Give me another strength check to see if you can pull this off, because it is still a very heavy beast.
Sure.
This will be your action.
Oh, not natural 20.
Oh, yeah. You toss it on. Give me a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
Oh, okay. Ah! The first one's a 17. And then this one is a 18.
Okay, you take 4 points of fire damage as we see Barbara hurls the ice construct onto the pressure plate. This fiery blast comes out, Barbara. You jump and manage to only just kind of sear yourself a smidge. And we see that it takes the full brunt of the blast. The ice melts away. It exposes that little central orb again, and as the thing seems to begin to die, we see the orb pulls in the swirling flames around it into a fiery vortex and forms this basically moving flame.
Well,
however, it is the smallest it has been the entire time, looking in bad shape.
okay.
Viper, it is your turn.
Okay, and the orb is not exposed anymore. It's been...
No, it is now surrounded by fire, as it seems to take the shape of almost like a tornado made of flames, with these 2 large appendages and one like rotating head-like thing atop.
Okay, and it's currently on the fire plate,
Yes.
which is 30 feet from the water plate.
Correct. It should be noted, every time it lands on one of the plates, the pillars spin and change what they are set to.
Okay, good to know.
The water is still set to water,
Okay,
the ice is set to water, and the fire is now set to ice.
okay. Well, I think the most important one right now is water, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I am going to take my movement to climb down the ladder. I'm right next to the water pillar, so the ladder should be right there. And then I will use my bonus action to dash, but I will move 20 feet behind the pressure plate for the water pillar. And then I'm going to attempt to get its attention by throwing another throwing knife at it.
Okay.
16?
That hits. Roll for
Okay.
damage.
8 piercing, and then it needs to make a constitution saving throw if it takes poison.
It does not.
Viper's going to be like, "Hey, over here!" as she throws it.
You say that and you throw the knife, and as the knife flies through, you see it goes straight through it because it is now in this fiery, gaseous form. But as it does, you see the flames kind of part, and almost like the wind from throwing the knife seems to decrease its size as you see some of the flames burn off. it is already looking in really, really, really bad shape. So although you perhaps are not doing anywhere near as much damage as perhaps something that you could stick a knife into, it does seem to be having significant impact as it burns with fury. But Gary, it is now your turn.
I'm going to cast a bonfire next to Grisabeth so she can warm up.
Yeah, you cast it and you immediately see the ice begin to melt.
Mr. Mogbile, you're so hot.
And then I'll just move 40 feet, so as close as I can to it.
Okay, so you are now 10 feet away from the pressure plate. It is 10 feet in front of you.
Okay.
Elizabeth is going to spend the turn thawing.
Okay, I'm going to take a breather for a sec. I think I'm going to go up the ladder and take a range position. I'll replace Viper.
She begins to move, but as you see, her joints are still kind of losing some of the ice. She really only makes it to the ice plate. Tony is going to fly down, pick up Grisabeth betwixt his hooves, and is going to fly her up toward the plate where Viper previously was. Jessica, it is your turn.
Jessica's going to carry on with that arc. Gonna move past the fire plate and head towards the snowflake ice plate.
You're about 10 feet away from the ice plate.
Lovely. Now that she's out of the way, Jessica will once more bow her head and say, "Dearest Bahamut, it's your #1 fan, Jessica, again, please lend me the power of justice to smite our enemies." And she will place her palms together and this time attempt to cast a guiding bolt at level 2.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go ahead and say an 11 doesn't hit.
An 11 does not hit.
You see the sparks of white and blue light spark in her palms, and then nothing else happens, and she opens her eyes and looks at her palms and goes, "Darn, I really thought I'd unlocked the method to the madness there. Sorry, gang." And that's going to be Jessica's turn.
You apologize, and Monique now going, "Okay, I think we're done with fire." And she runs off the ledge, and she goes, "Stop apologizing and just start killing." And she is going to toss 2 of the daggers at the elemental.
I am apologizing for not being able to kill. I think that's very worthwhile, an apology.
Gary's not moved.
Monique twirls through the air. She throws one of the pen daggers. It goes flying through the center of the construct, again splitting the flames, kind of losing some of its mass. And then she brings the other one up and kind of like twirls as she comes down and smashes it down into the ground, generating this gust of wind that seems to remove quite a lot of the mass. However, the creature is still standing. And she looks, "Okay, you know what? You were right. I'm sorry. I thought I had it that time." Popcorn then looks at you again, Thomas.
You know what, Popcorn? I'm going to let you take the wheel. I'm going to hop on Popcorn.
And he is going to leap off of the ledge. He begins to float in like a spiral down towards the fire elemental. And from high ground, he seems to be trying to give you a better vantage point, to give you perhaps advantage.
Yes.
However, it is then the construct's turn. Once again, taking just the absolute smallest bit of damage from one of Grisabeth's last bolts as it flies through the fire. However, it is now looking small. It is now about Gary's size, as it seems to have shrunk more and more and more.
Well, Gary's size, like in height, or Gary's size in...
Yes.
Oh.
The construct is going to move into Gary.
Just into Gary? Just like...
Yes.
Whoa.
Gary Bonfire, anyone?
Gary, you take 2 fire damage as it goes over you, and you are now on fire. And Grisabeth lets out a horrified, "Oh my god, Gary!" As once it goes through you, we just see that you are burning, and it fucking hurts.
But I'm wearing a resistant coat.
Okay, so that becomes 1 damage because of the coat. It is then going to rear up, and you see, because it is gaseous, it kind of shoots those 2 fiery arms up, and it forms this fiery, almost hammer above you. And does a 13 hit you?
No.
Does a 23 hit you?
Well, yeah.
You would take 18, but instead you take 9 fire damage as the Code of Elemental Resistance, despite being ablaze, tries to fight off as many of the flames as it can. And the flaming fists come down on you, dealing 9 fire damage. And you kind of ignite more.
Gary! Oh, somebody
This
do
red hot
something!
emotion.
Oh,
fireworks
God! Oh, I
emotion.
can't watch!
It looks like the 4th of July. There's no use in fighting. The fires you ignited.
Thomas, it is your
Just stand
turn.
back and watch the sparks fly.
Everything's on fire. I don't have any water moves.
Baby, I'm burning. Baby, I'm burning. Baby, I'm burning. Body
Jessica,
and soul.
please, Jesus Christ.
Bobby like throws sand at her. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
There was this great traveling bard that passed through Rabbit Cove a while back, and
You
her
can
name
sing
was
when we're done.
oh, but she was so good. Her name was Polly Darton.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, wow.
Is it anywhere near the ice plate?
It should be heading towards the water plate.
It's heading towards the
Yeah,
water
it's heading
plate,
towards the water, but also the ice plate spun. It's not lined up anymore.
Yeah.
The water plate is, though.
So right, I'll just swing with my shadow blade then.
Okay, give me a roll with that shadow blade.
18.
That hits. Roll for damage.
17.
Thomas, describe how you kill this.
It's Thomas time! I, riding upon Popcorn, jump off of my mighty steed, shadow blade whips out of my wrist, and I plunge down with 2 hands atop this fire monstrosity. And yeah, I stab it from above.
You stab down like Link in Breath of the Wild, and as you come down with force off of Popcorn kind of swirling you around to generate a draft, you plunge the blade down towards that dark crystal, and as you do, we see the flames get snuffed out. As the construct dissipates, you see the streams of dark fog melt away, and in the center lies the dark crystal. At the same moment, you hear scraping from the northern wall as it recedes to reveal what looks to be a cubbyhole, and below that, a hand-shaped indent.
Gary's going to fucking sprawl onto the water plate to snuff himself out.
All right, Gary, give me that dex saving throw.
19.
You only take 7 damage as you kind of hunker down, but you roll onto the plate, and the water comes blasting out. You are extinguished, and Grisabeth comes running down. She goes, "Oh my God, my baby, my baby, my baby, are you okay? Are you okay?" She grabs you, she kind of cradles you, holds you, and in her worry, everyone else, you see her hands begin to glow. And as they do, Gary, you regain 5 hit points.
Hey.
As Grisabeth holds you and frantically kind of like rocks you back and forth, and you all see this light emanating from her hands into Gary's body.
Jessica runs up and is like, the light of Bahamut flows through us all.
What?
You see some charred bits fall off of Gary from the healing. Gary is like blacker now than before. He looks a vicious eye at Jessica, but then he looks to Grisabeth. He's like,
You're a healer now.
What do you mean?
I feel inexplicably 5 HP rejuvenated. I don't know.
But I didn't do any, did I? Okay, that's good. That's good. I don't know how I did it, but okay.
It's just within you. You just got that talent, I guess. This is good. This is
Did I
very
do that
good.
to myself? Because let's be honest, I'm feeling like 1 out of anything right now. I'm feeling at a 1 right now.
She kind of like is like touching herself and like slapping her face. She goes, I don't think I could do that again.
We're gonna have to study, but this is good. It's possible.
It's my time. It has come.
Oh my God.
Dearest Bahamut, please help me heal with your powers of justice. And she will place her hands on Grisabeth as she casts Cure Wounds at the 3rd level.
Ooh.
She shall be healed for 24 hit points.
Nice.
Whoa! Oh God! Oh my God! That was Matt Gary. Did you do that? My goodness!
I did not.
Oh!
And I didn't either. It was our Lord Bahamut. and she like casts her eyes up and she like kisses 2 fingers and like points up at the sky.
No.
Gary grabs her hand and walks towards the cubby.
Yeah, wait, really quick, God, is the cubby like big enough for a crystal kind of cubby? Or like, okay.
Monique walks up to you, Thomas, and goes, nice job, Mr. Phelps. That's what I was trying to do. But...
Well. It looks like you all have Thomas Phelps to thank again. I'm going to take off my head and take a bow.
Thank you, Thomas. Thomas, I think that crystal at your feet, I think we need it for the cubby. Could you grab it?
Oh, sure. Okay.
You now see Thomas walking, skull in one hand, crystal in the other, both about the same size.
And Jessica's, we all start walking toward the cubby and the handprint, Jessica's going to say, "Hey, Barbara, how you feeling? Are you okay? Do you need some Bahamut light in you?"
Oh my god.
I think I'll be okay.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm feeling real jazzed about it.
Yeah, I can tell. It's like there's like fire burning in your eyes. I can see like into your soul right now.
Baby, I'm burning out of control. Baby, I'm burning body and soul.
Does anything happen when Thomas puts the crystal in the cubby?
Thomas, as you put the crystal in, it seems to click into place.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna say we probably have to do Gary's hand since he was the one that touched the altar.
Okay.
Gary will walk up.
Gary, you put your hand on the handprint, and you feel that familiar feeling of the extraction of blood.
I think it's everybody since nothing happened.
Okay. Viper will go next.
Viper, you put your hand, you feel the extraction of blood. Monique does the same.
Jessica will do the same.
Jessica does the same.
Bar will do it.
Barbara does the same.
Tony or Grisabeth?
Tony will put a hoof up.
Okay.
I guess I'll go.
Grisabeth puts a hand on the wall, and as Grisabeth puts her hand on the handprint, you then finally hear the stone recede.
Another hand touches the beak.
Revealing a path up and out into the open air.
Oh, we did it.
Wait.
Well,
don't speak,
we think
don't
we
speak
did
too
it.
soon. Let's get out of here before.
I hope so. We'll see.
All right, fingers crossed then, I guess.
Barbara's gonna start moving forward.
As you walk out, you find yourself being spit out on the other end of the Sandstone Palace. And you see another one of the 5 young orcs from the initiation. This one seems to be by far the youngest of the group, with the brightest red coloration, almost tipping towards fuchsia. He's clad in a tactical vest-like getup, with a thin, breezy fabric skirt, and holds a clipboard. He looks up and says,
Squadron 203, congratulations. You found your Hold on. Huh? You're well over your registered party size.
What do you mean?
And you guys turn, Winnie's kind of floating behind you. She goes, sorry, I wanted to say, I apologize for not being more useful. Normally, Justina helps me with the whole possession thing, and I was really hoping to do it and help navigate him the way that I wanted.
No, that's all right. That's all right. She was from the previous squadron, so she was stuck down there.
Oh, like after the...
Yes.
Oh, God,
We entered and we found her sobbing over the remains of her previous the partner of her squadron, and what we were supposed to leave her there.
And at this point, you see he keeps looking through a clipboard and then looking back towards that raised dais where you see Saxon Brunt, the older woman, and Levi, who you recognize from before. And he goes, if you could just give me 1 sec, He starts looking through the clipboard, looks back at the clipboard, and you notice that Levi takes notice of him. And he goes, right, for the undead, what we're supposed to... And Levi steps off the dais, comes over, and puts a hand on his shoulder, says, okay, what seems to be the issue here?
Sorry, Levi, I just, come over here.
And they start whispering amongst themselves. After a minute or so, Levi steps up and goes, okay, so you found this ghost in the middle of your trial.
Her name is Winnie. You can talk to her. She's her own being.
All right, Winnie.
You can ask her.
Yes.
How can I help you?
I'm sorry for whatever happened. We don't get a lot of undead or otherwise applicants. Are you interested in continuing in the trials? She kind of looks to all of you, and she goes,
Not without Justina, I don't think, no.
Okay. You, Winnie, have technically cheated. You have gained exit through ways that you were not supposed to. By all intents and purposes, you should still be in the trials. But it does not seem like you are interested in continuing the trials. If I were to give you half payment, are you willing to leave here and just kind of let whatever happened happen? She again kind of glances to all of you.
I suppose? Right? Is that...
She kind of looks to all of you.
Winnie, you do whatever you want to do. Yeah.
It's your decision, Winnie. We can't do that for you.
Yeah, I guess there's no point in me continuing.
Okay. I'll take care of you, Winnie.
As for the rest of you, this is a breach of rules since you received unsanctioned help for your trial. But, seeing as it is partially our fault, we can let you proceed with a 50 gold penalty to your reward.
That seems reasonable. Thank you.
May you find your way. And you head on away from the trials and out into the open.
And at this point, Winnie appears and goes,
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, thank you all for helping me get out.
Of course, Winnie. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. I realize this was a lot to add on to you, and it seems to have caused a lot of problems, and I
No,
apologize.
Winnie. No, Winnie, it is not your fault. We would never have left you down there. You have done nothing wrong, okay?
If it's all the same with you, I'd like to just give you my 50 gold, and I would just like to take Justina and go.
Are you sure?
Yes.
But how can you take her? She's, a solid object.
I can choose to manipulate objects. It's a bit like a mage hand.
Right, okay. Here.
He starts fishing out the remains from Tony's saddle.
Does anyone have a cloth?
I should have something. And I'll rummage in my bag. I think there was a point in time where I had torn a spare shirt I had for Richard's wound, so I have some extra scraps in there, so...
Yeah, and she kind of wraps it up and she goes,
thank you again, and I'm sorry, and...
No. It's okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm not in a state to be more appreciative.
No, it's really alright. Take care of yourself, okay?
Alright.
And you see she just is gone.
Okay.
Farewell.
So, as someone who took a lot of, I'm tired. I'm gonna say it. I'm tired. I would like to head back to the
tower.
building, the tower that we have.
I think, yes.
Yeah, I'm ready to turn in. Let's just go
Yes.
home.
I think emotions are high and wounds are still open, just...
All right. Bob is walking.
Open wounds? Does somebody need them cured? And Jessica
I might.
just starts to kind of rub her palms together, and you see some white and blue sparks.
I might.
As you return to the tower, Gary, you notice that a few of the bricks have begun to decay and fall out of place. And so you recast, and we see the tower kind of sprucing back up.
Jessica's also going to recast tiny hut for the horses to hang out in as well.
The horses very much appreciate it as they enter their little hut and kind of chill out together. They lay down. And as you do that, reverberating out from the palace, you hear an announcement.
Congratulations, squadrons. You made it through the first trial. 112 squadrons remain. Take this time to recoup and consider your strengths and weaknesses. We want the best of the best. For the next hour, anyone wishing to rebalance their squadron by adding members or shedding some dead weight may do so. Make this choice with care. You will not get another chance to do so. From here on out, you are no longer individuals. You are your squadrons. May you find your way.
And as you head inside, you see the door to the adventurers' quarters on the first floor and the stairs leading up to your chamber on the second floor. You climb up, exhausted, but alive, and 100 gold richer. And as you open the door, sitting in the center of the room, you see a woman. Not just any woman. A very old orc with dark red skin. Clad in leopard-spotted fur, one leg crossed over the other. The matron takes you in and says,
Squadron 203, let's talk.
This has been Your Honor. Your Honor features the vocal talents of Nicholas Benetatos as Gary Mogbile, Amanda Fernandez-Acosta as Barbara, Nicholas Palazzo as Thomas Phelps, Michael Pisani as Jessica Feltcher, and Hannah Schooner as Viper. The rest of the world is voiced by your DM, Giancarlo Herrera, with editing by Hannah Schooner and Giancarlo Herrera, and sound design by Giancarlo Herrera. If you'd like to support the show, consider checking out the links in the show notes, or go to patreon.com/Drimbus, where you can get access to hours of bonus content, exclusive merch, the chance to play with the crew, or submit items to the show, or have NPCs named after you. Oh, and don't forget to leave a review or make a post using hashtag Drimbus to be entered for the chance to win a free Dungeons & Drimbus sticker. Thank you all so much for listening, and I do declare we'll see you all next week.